Hello and welcome back to my channel, where today I'm going to share with you 10 things I wish I would have known before I went to Yellowstone. Like, how did I not know these things? How, guys? How? But first, before we do, I would like to thank a special sponsor of today's video. Today, we are sponsored by Ashy to Classy. Ashy to Classy sent me this shirt, and it's just really awesome, and I feel like it's so befitting of my attitude towards certain things. Because I owe you nothing. But I'm going to give you everything because it's really important for me to share these things with you so you don't have to encounter the same kind of things that I did along the way while traveling. I'm sorry guys, I'm in just such a good mood today. It has been an insane week, and now that we have recapped the 3 episodes from Yellowstone, you guys are on the same page with me on seeing all these amazing places, and I'm just like, I hope that I have, through my adventures, inspired at least one of you to check out Yellowstone a little bit more and see the awesomeness that is Yellowstone. I was there for 3 days, and I feel like I could have literally stayed there a month and still not seen everything. I just zipped and zoomed through so many things so that I could move on to the next thing. So I definitely have already, in my head, made a mental trip back, just saying. Anyway, with that said, let's get straight to this. Okay, so without further ado, 10 things I wish I would have known before I went to Yellowstone. Number 1, you should always book your campsite in advance when going to Yellowstone. Like, way in advance if possible. The reason being that even if you get to the park and it says there are campsites available, that isn't always necessarily the case. Check with your ranger stations, of course, and they will tell you that you can or cannot stay at a place, but typically if people are visiting, they know they're going to be there for a few days, so they book out a site. It is very rare to catch a site, especially on a weekend or a holiday, that is open. Number 2, there is no cell service. None. Don't expect it. Don't anticipate it. Don't hope for it. It's not happening. No! Why, you ask? There is only one tower in the entirety of the park. One tower. One. And it is a Verizon tower. Now, if you're at home going,
but I have Verizon, I will have service.
Nope, I need you to trust me on this when I tell you there will be no cell service for you. No, it's kind of like on Seinfeld, no soup for you. No cell service for you, period. It just doesn't happen. The reason being that there's only one and there's so many people in this one area, so this tower is so overloaded that it plays with your mind. It plays with your mind a lot. For example, let me just tell you my personal experience. I was on a higher peak. I had 4 bars of service. I got so excited. I hadn't had service in 2 days. I was like, yes, I can send an email, I can download a map, I can do all these things. Nope. What happens is it teases you and plays with you and gives you these little false little moments of fool's gold thinking, I've got it made, only to rip it away, throw it out the door, and leave you thinking, just kidding, thanks. So what happens when you don't have cell service? You don't have maps. You don't have any access to any of the online resources where we would normally just Google and try to figure something out. It is imperative that you understand before you go into the park, there is no cell service. Number 3 goes hand in hand with no cell service. Download offline maps. Always download offline maps. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, I'm in the park, I'm fine, I don't really need a map. Wrong. You always need an offline map. Offline maps are awesome whenever you use Google because you can actually zoom in and figure out where you're at any point based on the little dot that will keep up with you even if you don't have cell service. I never knew this worked until I started traveling so much. It totally works. Number 4, there are bears.
There's a bear! Where? Over there!
There's a lot of other animals too, but bears are the most predominantly scary animals that you're going to find in Yellowstone. Why, you ask? Why? Because they're grizzly bears. That's not a normal little bear that you're going to see stealing little cutesy picnic baskets. No, this guy has a hump and his claws are bigger than my hands. Just his claws. They do recommend that you carry bear spray, that you don't hike by yourself, that you make noise whenever you do hike, even with a friend, and that you use bear boxes, bear cans, and hard sides in most areas. Yeah, it's a lot. It's real serious up there in bear country. But that's not all. No, there are other animals too. You have elk, you have bison, you have wolves. There's so many things that you can expect going to Yellowstone. They do have in all of the visitor centers, all of them, recommended distance that you need to stay away from these animals, and I definitely recommend you going and checking this out. It's going to give you a nice visual of how far something actually is versus how far you think it is whenever you're seeing it and you're trying to take a picture of it going,
Oh, it's so cute. I want to take a picture of that.
only to find out that it's,
Wow, wow, wow.
no, visit the visitor center, don't go near the bears, obey the rules. Number 5, there are a few pet restrictions, as there are with most national parks. This park in particular has several really unique ones though. They do not want your pets to get out there and end up on a geothermal feature and end up as roast, because that's what will happen. And I don't mean to sound mean, but it really is what happens. So geothermal features are super hot, like hotter than like a hot spring that you hop in and get all cozy like a hot tub. No, these are like boiling. So the crust on top of these is super thin. They have boardwalks all throughout Yellowstone, and they want you to walk on these boardwalks for your safety. Yeah, for your safety. As a human being, you know that when you see a sign. That doesn't mean you always listen, but you know that. As an animal, however, especially dogs, they by nature are curious. They want to go and potty on things and sniff things and do stuff. And so it's not good. It's not good, guys. A lot of places that have these boardwalks are pet restricted. And there's a reason for that. Instead of being upset or offended, just know that they are actually trying to protect your animals. Number 6, you're gonna be a smelly kid unless you know where the showers are, because they're not at all the campsites. Nope. Know where you're going before you go into the park. Research before you go into the park. Now, when you pick up a map, there are little icons on the map itself that tell you about where the showers are, but if in your head you already kind of have an idea as to where you're staying versus where a shower might be, this is going to be very helpful. The park is set up like a big figure 8, and there are kind of little campsites around it. Now, some of these offer completely full service camping when it comes to showers and laundry. Some of them only offer toilets. You're going to want to know which one you're staying at and how that you need to navigate and when you need to navigate to take a shower while staying in the park. Just because you're staying at a place in the park that does not have a shower necessarily does not mean you can't take advantage of another one though. If you pay the cost of admission to Yellowstone, you have the right to the facilities, you just have to go and use them. So, my tip to you is taking your shower later in the evening so that you have the whole day to explore the park versus burning that little time in the morning when other people are also trying to use those facilities. This is going to ensure that you have that nice, comfortable shower, but that you also do it in a time where you're not waiting in line or killing your day. Okay? Okay. Number 7 is about closures and construction. Let's face it, there's always something that's happening, and in a place like Yellowstone where there is only a one-way this way and a one-way this way on a figure 8 road, it gets a little crazy quickly. That also sometimes can be the case if there are an accident or if there's bison crossing the road, so just have a little bit of patience whenever you go to the park. Now, usually if they are doing construction, they do try to label it in advance so you kind of have a heads up that, okay, I could have some delay here. Sometimes even they'll tell you how long to expect a delay. But there's other times where it's going to completely strike you off guard. There's going to be a guy standing there with a stop sign for what seems like an eternity, and you're just going to have to wait. There's no turning around. There's no going forward. You're there. You're there for the long haul. So just try to allocate enough time for yourself just in case. Number 8. Number 8 was the one that kicked me in the pants probably the hardest. Gas prices. Oh my goodness. So I came in from the eastern side and I filled up when I was in Cody, and I drove around for one whole day and then decided, okay, I drove 80 miles from Cody, I drove around the loop, I still have enough gas, but In my head, I want to make sure that I'm not getting anywhere near out of gas because that would be traumatic in this park where I have no cell service. Sounds like a great idea, right? There are gas stations kind of strategically placed throughout the park. I took advantage of one of these. Oh my goodness. 50 cents more on average than it was in the neighboring community. Gouging! Gouging! Let that sink in, especially if you have a big RV. 50 cents more per gallon. It adds up. Number 9. Somehow this footage got deleted, so I totally wanted to include a clip of exactly what number 9 is about. Entry fees. Yep, that's right, entry fees. Each carload is $25 for a 7-day pass. But at this park they do have something a little bit different called a 1-year Grand Teton and Yellowstone Park Pass that is available for $50. Otherwise, you can use your National Park Pass, which is available for $80, and that will pretty much cover your admission to anywhere you might want to go. Last but not least, I have one more that you're going to want to know. It's all about camping and where you can camp if you don't want to stay in the park. Yeah, if you don't want to spend the higher price to stay in the park, there are so many options, and they don't want you to know about those. But I know about them! So as you know, I love a little site called The Dirt, and that's a camping resource where you can find all sorts of cool stuff. If you go in and you look, and you type in Yellowstone, it's going to show you all the campsites around Yellowstone. And there's a lot of them. I found that if you decide that you want to stay on the eastern side, there are all of these Forest Service campgrounds, which have a fraction of the price tag of the park itself. Now, some of these you can only stay in if you have hard sides, so keep that in mind. If you're going to the south, and you don't mind going to the north part of Teton over by the Snake River, there's this wonderful area that has free camping.
Free.
Now, I will say this has a little bit of a disadvantage for those who do not have a rig where they can leave it there or a tent. So if you're a van life person, it's probably not going to work out for you as well, because when you leave your site, there's nothing to claim it as your own, and then somebody else is going to come and get it because it's a very coveted site. Now, these sites you can stay at for up to 14 days absolutely free. Most of them are right on the river, and they're really picturesque and gorgeous. You can see the Tetons in the background, the river right in front of you. It's quiet, it's peaceful, and despite it being free, they actually have vault toilets. Like, that doesn't happen everywhere. Now, if that's not available, you can actually go a little bit further into Teton, and there is another free campsite. If you're planning on exploring both parks, this is a great place to set up shop because you literally are in the heart of Teton with the amazing views. I stayed here one night. It was absolutely gorgeous. There were a lot of other people camping in the area, and none of us were paying those park prices. That is for sure. To the north, you have another set of really cool sites that you can stay at. There is a forest campground that actually has a vault toilets, picnic tables, things like that. It is really nice, soft plush grass. I was very impressed by this one, and it was only like $8 a night or something like that. That's insane. Or if you drive up the road just a little bit more and you don't need services like at all, you're self-contained, they have free camping again. Awesome, right? I think so. To the west, you also have some Forest Service campgrounds and some Forest Service roads. These kind of range in price points. I noticed that there was everything from like $12 a night to $25 a night, and those are within 15 to 20 minutes of the gate on the west. Then there's the Forest Service roads, where if you're a brave person, you can just pull off on a logging road. I am not that brave. I encourage you to explore those, get on the dirt, check them out, and find your perfect camping experience. If you don't want to book in advance, these sometimes are the best bet for that last-minute camping trip to Yellowstone for checking it out. Thanks again, guys, for coming and checking out 10 things I wish I would have known before I went to Yellowstone. This has been brought to us again by Ashy to Classy, where they shows that I owe you nothing, but I'll give you everything. The reason being, I want you guys to get out there and love the world around you, have a wonderful adventure, and I hope that this has helped you plan something spectacular when going to Yellowstone.
Hit subscribe, ooh, hit subscribe, ring the bell, hit subscribe, ring the bell, and hit subscribe. Like if you liked it, comment if you've been there, like if you liked it, comment if you've been there.
I'm done, guys. I promise. Bye!